one.
All right.
Listen, I'm not good at guessing.
Okay.
So,
how about your?
Just tell me.
Let's. You got to get your top 2 TI there, Rhyme. So that's Wings.
Oh yeah, you got DC and Wings. Okay,
DC and Wings. Okay. How about for Europe, the other European team?
Oh, for Europe. Other European team.
Maybe
that would
closer to CIS instead of Europe.
Oh, VP.
VP. All right.
Got to be them.
Now these other two, have been kind of middle of the road here for a while. One is also, I guess you could consider a European team, and another Chinese team.
Liquid.
No. Good guess though. But not
Oh,
Liquid.
damn it. Is it LGD? No. Not LGD.
No. It's a 2-letter, one of those 2-letter teams.
Was it VG?
IG. So you
IG. No.
beating around the bush a bit there, Ryan, but we got where we belong to IG. The final team used to be one of the best teams. People would consider one of the best teams ever. One of the players in this game used to be on this team, and he's on OG right now, playing in the off lane. He used to be at TI3 as a mid laner. Pretty popular guy. S4.
Yeah.
And the team he used to be on?
Oh, he used to be in Alliance back then. I just think that. Oh, the Secret. Oh yeah, Secret.
Yeah.
That team. I forgot Secret existed because they haven't been in anything. Like, they didn't go to Boston. They just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. Although they did kind of raid a Malaysian, I think it was, didn't they? They kind of just beat everyone up and took their money, which is horribly irresponsible of them.
Secret has been like a sleeping dragon right now. We don't know their potential. For all we know, 7.0 could be the Secret patch. So we'll get to actually see them in action in Croatia for this particular land. But we need to find out the last team of that roster to join them. A lot of people are anticipating that OG is going to be the team to do it because, well, they just freaking won the previous major. But Elements Pro Gaming, we saw them yesterday, Rhyme, and they blasted past ATN. And and as you mentioned, they got Pit Lord yesterday in their series against Alliance. They got the first game and just ran them right over. OG not giving Underlord the appreciation similar to Alliance here. Are they going to be biting themselves in the ass, Rhyme?
It depends really, because what happened in the game with Alliance is they basically shut down the Underlord for the first 3 minutes. He had 2 deaths, no CS, but then they kind of just stopped being able to pressure him really. Like, they had to move their Weaver around to stop, like, Swift ending farming on his Void and all kinds of things. So they basically couldn't really do anything. And then Underlord just kind of walked around and went, I'm just going to buy Guardian Greaves and a Crimson Guard, I'm going to run at your buildings and you're going to stop me. So, question is Drow Visage enough to... Like, are they going to get the lanes well enough that Underlord doesn't really get critical mass? Because once he does, and he will if left alone, then things get annoying very quickly. And you also got Wyvern, which is always nice versus Visage and Drow. Makes people kill themselves. Very mean.
Very, very mean. Pretty much anyone next to the Drow will be insta-dead at that particular point later in the game when she's really hitting her stride. But Visage, it's the new Visage though, Ryan. This isn't just Drow Visage of old. It's Drow Visage 2.0, you know? So we got to see. I think we saw Visage yesterday, right? I don't remember it being...
It was
crazy, but maybe I might have been
playing it. He didn't really have that. He didn't really notice it that much, but like every fight, he was kind of just destroying everybody with soul assumptions. I think he was like one of the highest damage heroes in that game. Although he was kind of overshadowed by the Slark because Swift Ending did kill everybody.
That's true.
Which was, they kind of, when you compared his farm to the carries of Alliance, it didn't really kind of match up very well.
I would bank that we're going to be seeing a Swift Ending Slark at some point in this series. It would be a serious disservice to Elements Pro Gaming and all their fans if they weren't able to creep it in somehow. I'm not too sure if OG were actually watching a lot of the games yesterday or not, if they're fully prepared, if they did their research. We got to remember, I was saying it a bit in the start, pre-game if you will, that we do not have Fly or Ana. I believe they're both on vacation right now. We have currently
Which means Trixie is now playing offlane as a stand-in, and S4 has run back to his middle lane. So he's going to be bopping more creeps than usual, and Yapsora is going to be running around playing 4 position or 5 position. I can't remember which. I don't know if Jarax has moved, because Jarax is the 4 for OG usually, I think. He's the roaming man, and Yapsora also plays a lot of roaming stuff, but I'm sure they work something out. I'm just wondering if like the Elements want to try and go for like, what kind of carry do you want to go against Drow Visage? Because Drow Visage, like, it kind of basically says it's one of the 2 heroes sets that kind of goes, we're going to 5-man. Like, at some point, we're going
Yeah.
to group up with all of our heroes and run at a tier 1 and a tier 2, and then run another lane, and then a tier 1 and a tier 2, and so on and so forth. So, Slark he's okay against Drow, in that, like, his abilities match up pretty well, but Slark isn't really that great against 5-man, because you need to get, like, enough stuff that you just don't kind of disintegrate immediately. And yeah, they pick that. They like their Visage CK. They did that in their match versus alternate attacks, I think, in the upper bracket. So,
But OG,
we know how that went.
OG have it now, and you know, you can't help but. Is this? I mean, is this a support CK? Is where really what I'm getting at right now. Do you think it's just gonna be a straight up support roaming around, fluff and stuff esque CK, chilling, bopping people, building up a bulk of money, and getting to you know, Ags at some point, providing Lady Drow with free Mantis style?
Yeah,
Is that what we're getting at here?
Yep, I think it's probably just roaming CK playing kind of 5 and Visage just being in lane. I'm pretty sure it's just roaming CK. And then they're probably going to have some middle hero that's going to fight a lot with the CK that can kind of... Ooh, that... Ogre doesn't usually get through this far.
No, he does not. Ogre has still continued to be usually a first phase go-to, whether it's ban or pick, just because he was all the rage in our previous patch, and he does transition a little bit there. Just, you know, he's a comfort hero. Everyone knows what he does. Just ignite, you know, and walk up, bop him a couple times, and of course, I can't forget, you got to give everyone Bloodlust. If you're not giving everyone Bloodlust, you're just not doing your job.
But sometimes you fire blast people. You do that sometimes. If someone tries to TP away from you when you're bopping them, you kind of...
That means you're close to them and not close to your team giving Bloodlust, though. So if you're igniting...
Ogre likes to get people's faces, you know. Just, what's the point of having 8 armor and like 4 HP regen if you can't hit people with it?
Do you? I played him yesterday, and trust me, early game, that's all I did. Got in people's faces, bopped them, and I asserted dominance for my team in the laning phase, which was great. Late game, though, I want to talk about late game Ogre. What are you doing as late game Ogre? Are you trying to get in Ags and you're trying to go for massive stun lockdown? Are you more so just kind of hanging back with your team, giving them Bloodlust at all times? Are you trying to... What else are you trying to do? Be a sponge as damage? What do you want to do?
For the most part, I think, like, an Ogre... it's been said that... multiple people have kind of said that Ogre is a Bloodlust and he is a 4-staff. And that is what you aspire to be. You see Ogre in the rough, you want to run at people early game, you want to Bloodlust your carry, and then you want to be able to force people out from danger, or just 4-staff yourself in if necessary. Then you can kind of get utility items. I think Ags, honestly, it's... Oh, there we go. There's a Stark hero.
We didn't have to wait long at all.
But Stark, it's a pretty good start game already. I say Visage, Drow, easy targets. CK, he kind of, once he's gone on, he can't really get out, and he's just kind of a sponge. Lots of health, lots of stats to steal. Invoker, lots of AoE damage, but he has trouble killing the Slark unless he's got like prior lockdown.
Let's talk more about this Invoker rhyme a bit, because A, rumor has it that Invoker is just not really the same hero as he was in the previous patch, and B, who's playing this frickin' Invoker? Because S4 had been kind of subbing in for the new mid laner, but I don't know S4 to be playing a lot of Invoker, so either he's just kind of giving it a go, or they're changing
S4 plays
something.
Crosswex Invoker. He used to back when Alliance were picking it a fair bit. Because Alliance did have a period where they went, everyone's picking Invoker, we better try it, because everyone was playing QW Invoker. Okay. And S4 played it quite a few times, I remember. He never really seemed fully comfortable on it, but I'm sure he's absolutely fine on it. And I would say that QW Invoker is a better fit for what they kind of want to do if they want to have battles repeatedly. Because Export Invoker, I think, it's kind of fallen off relative to Crossworks, because honestly, Tornado gets some buffs in the talents eventually, but and that kind of thing, but
so you think
I'm just not really sold on Exor right now.
You're not sold on Exor right now, yeah? Okay. Drow and Visage on the team, though. I mean, doesn't that just give you a little bit of spice to a kind of heavy push lineup? I mean, don't worry, I can see the justification on having Invoker with that extra bit of crowd control, if you will, and some of these chaotic fights that could be coming their way. I'm very anxious to see it. I mean, it's just our first game, and it is a best of 5, everybody. I know this is my mistake. It's not on Dota Pit. I forgot to change out. I changed out all the other screens, but I didn't change out the draft screen, and I forgot. I thought, to be honest, I didn't think it was going to matter a whole lot, but believe it or not, they put a tiny indicator up in the right that says best of 3 or best of 5, so it's a best of 5. It's not a best of 3. Don't worry. So, long day of Grand Final Dota ahead of us here. Final bans, getting rid of the Puck. Of course, it's an S4 Puck you want to be getting rid of, and the Weaver on the side of OG. They knocked out the Earth Spirit and finished it off with the OD. They're not going to go OD. Elements Pro Gaming pick up the Templar Assassin, classic dire side Templar Assassin, to go against this Invoker here, Rhyme. But, you know, I at least can't be saying anymore this dire side Templar, because Roche isn't even closer to dire side anymore. But Roche is just his own world in the middle.
Roche is so... I still, like, when people say go Roche, I just automatically run towards the right-hand side low, and I was like, hang on, this is a shrine, this isn't a Roche.
Now, you know, don't worry, he's only been in that neighborhood for 10 years, so... I'm sorry, you should be forgiven for looking that way at least once.
Yeah. Actually, most of my Roche experiences recently have been invaded by Monkey Kings, just kind of... He just sits there and watches from the tree, then the ulti flies out, and then everyone just gets beat up.
Let me tell you one...
I like that hero.
Oh, you do now, do you, Ryan?
Yeah, I was playing...
One hero I'm extremely thankful we don't have to witness anything of. He is extremely infuriating.
But we do have a Furion. There is a Furion in this game. Furion's kind of making a comeback. Haven't really been seeing him picked very much at all, and I think... Yeah, it's just nice seeing him again. Or maybe it isn't nice. I'm not really sure. But it kind of means they're very, very all in on their laning phase right now. Elements are saying, like, we're going to get, like, 2 or 3 of our cores kind of farmed, and then we're just going to fight you constantly. TA might have, like, a little bit of a timeout to blink and Deso and things like that. But, I think for the most part, OG just want to... If they get a few kills early on with roaming CK, then they can very easily take towers and start snowballing.
And it looks like we'll be getting underway. Final thing I want to ask for Furion, my boy Nature's Prophet over here. All I keep hearing about him is plus 6 Treants, level 25 talent here. Is it a joke? Is it a meme? Will we be seeing Trixie level this thing up?
I don't think it's worth, honestly. Something just tells me it's not quite. Alright, so yeah, if you look at Fury and Silence, okay, you've got 20 damage, 175 health. You usually want to go for damage, movement speed, or movement speed maybe, attack speed or armor. Usually attack speed, but like 6 trees summoned, like that really doesn't. Like,
with this talent, you can give the enemies more money.
I remember it's like, wasn't Admiral Bulldog looking at the patch notes when he was looking at this, and he was looking at the, remember when they were released on the Pastebin before they were officially released, and everyone was like, oh, these are probably fake, guys, don't worry about it. He was laughing at how silly it was and how they weren't even trying to make a real patch note, right? And then you look at the real one, and it just says, you can see right here, just plus 6 Trent summoned.
Do you have a problem with that?
I'm not one to question like our Lord and Master, but it's I don't know quite what he was thinking when he thought of that, because some of them are completely arbitrary, these 25 talent points.
Yeah, maybe it's next level, and Bulldog
Yapsor's
is yet to even discover it. But yeah, Yapsor taking full advantage of the strength of a level 1 Chaos Knight, and he's just imposing himself.
Doesn't like Trixie.
And they pull all the way back. Yeah, what's happening over here? We got Trixie up in arms with Gogi a little bit, but Gogi's going to rendezvous a bit with the Courier and head right back up towards the top lane. He was a man on a mission to be able to plant this nice deep ward, gives him vision kind of over the camp to see if Trixie was to kind of step away from the off lane whatsoever. This is going to be an interesting off lane for the poor guy. I can't imagine it's going to be tough. You have LeBron who's inbound on this Wyver, who you know is going to be rolling in with an Arctic Burn right away. There it is, leveling it up. I love this. Real pain in the ass right now. Just kind of burn him on the way back. Him and Gogi, like, come on. Trixie's gonna... I don't know.
He's got some major temperature control problems right now.
Yeah. Really does. A little bit of
so
ignite
he's just going to
here.
hit LeBron a bit now, but he's not really going to get that much out of this lane. But it's not really that much of a threatening kill lane, because Ogre needs to take stun to stop him from TPing out. So all they need to do is keep... the Wyvern needs to keep him low enough so that like they can threaten a kill on him, but they can stop him from farming that way. But I don't think he's going to really get hugely zoned out. And always he can just go and jungle a tiny bit, but they do have a ward right on his hard camp. So
bottom lane, a little bit of harassment onto Mitch. Yapsor gets the pullback, and with the help of the slow from Visage, they're going to be bringing him down to just about half its life and forcing the big guy to pull out that salve nice and early. Support's just kind of doing their thing, and then Yapsor could be free to his own devices at this point. We'll have to see if he's going to be rolling as a 2-man unit here with Visage to continue to try to beat some ass across the map or what, but they have that ward down, and they see that the Underlord is trying to step away from the lane and find some solo XP elsewhere. But as we can see, Yapsor just around the corner, leeching away as much as possible.
His experience.
Yes, he does. Hiya, how's it going? Pulls back a rift. Jarex, though,
Yeah,
is
he doesn't have stun. He's happy to rift people.
just going to keep bopping him a bit. Oh, the slow allows Yapzor to snag the bounty rune right in front of him. And if he takes him down, that is just cruel and unusual punishment. But it looks like Mitch will be able to make it away. They at least force out a 50 gold TP. All for that. Yapzor putting in the mileage already in the early game.
I'm just waiting for when the Furion and the Visage decide to go and kill the TA, because it's going to happen at some point. They're going to make a move, because they don't want to leave Quaswex Invoker alone against TA for very much longer.
Yeah.
Because when TA hits level 5, that's the point where CS really stops happening. And Exalt Invoker, he can kind of challenge with Forge Spirit, and he can kind of maybe farm some jungle camps as well, get farmed that way, but Quaswex Invoker, he's entirely dependent on what he gets in the laning stage very early on. So you kind of want to protect him from TA a bit.
Ooh,
he's got
bottom
a little
lane.
bit longer left.
Mitch just returned to the bottom lane, and they just went all in for him. He pops the Fairy Fire, and he's actually manages to stay alive long enough to see Yapzor go down. He'll take that kill and the first blood bonus, but he will end up going down shortly after. I gotta say, that feels pretty nice for Mitch. It's certainly not the worst thing ever. He manned up when he needed to and was able to get that XP burst at the start. But top lane right away, Yapzor going right into work and just comes across a convenient little dragon and picks up another kill for OG.
Testimony to your weakness, apparently. He just, yeah, CK hits pretty hard. He's just maxing Rift, and yeah, I don't think Wyvern is really well equipped to deal with that kind of thing just now. The supports, apart from Ogre, is trying his best to kind of roam around and be a presence on this map, but he spent some time zoning out the Furion, but now the Furion's kind of got lots and lots of trees, and even an Ogre has a hard time tanking all of them for a long time. So
yeah. So he's bottom with his boy Mitch, because
yeah, I think he just wants to guarantee that this Drow doesn't have an amazing time and that his Pit Lord gets to like the amount of XP that he needs, because I think Pit Lord is the main hero they're going to be fighting around in the mid game. So ensuring his farm is pretty important right now.
Oh, nearby, a race for the bounty. Gogi's going to be able to pick it up with the help of his Ignite right in front of Jarex there. And Prance is right back to that bottom lane. We touch base with the mid lane CS. It does look like the TA is just inching ahead a bit by about 10 CS or so. Could say this is pretty expected, as Cole is going to be stepping all the way back for his own bounty rune. And would you say for TA, is Ancient still the same priority as they have always been? I mean, you're looking at a game now with 2 different Ancient stacks. I mean, as I say this, Gogi's already over there making a stack, so I guess that answers my question. But you got 2 Ancient stacks now, so should I just be blatant in saying, Rhyme, that this might be a better map for TA now?
Yeah, I think it is a better map for TA. I've always thought like Ancient stacking on TA it's kind of worthwhile, but I think you want to get to the point where you can farm them every single cooldown, so you just have 2 Ancient camps that you can go to. You don't have to worry about the enemy team controlling your Ancients, because you've got 2 Ancient spots that they need to control. You pretty much always have access to farm as a TA now, which is something that wasn't usually the case.
Now, by now, it should be apparent to elements that there was a ward or something going on near their Ancient side, because as Ogre was trying to go for the stack, Yapzor came over once again and just kind of interrupted it, blocked the camp. And between that and the time that they were able to get the jump on Underlord, they have to know that there's some vision somewhere. It looks like their ward may have just expired, but they are determined to make their way out there and try to at least work with the jungle a little bit, because they can't really hold up in this bottom lane. So No Tail is going to town on the CS. Still, though, the CS breadwinner of this Rhyme is Swift Ending. We saw this yesterday. He had a top lane all to himself, farmed, and then he just gets to that point where it's like, you know what? I'm going to farm heroes now. And then he just goes out and just takes a bunch of names, takes a bunch of kills. Can we see that happen again in this game?
I think so. I think his path to taking fights is quite obvious now. He's just going to get a Keeler, just tank up a bit, get some damage going. And then as soon as he gets Shadow Blade, he's going to try and look for the Visage maybe, and then the Drow. I think going for the Drow for his first kind of kill is a bit ambitious, but something's happening.
Yeah, bottom lane, the Malice is out. Jarek's caught under the tower. He's going to be rooted multiple times in his place, but he's able to get off some nuking power onto the Ogre, who will get dropped. They trade each other. Wyvern into the place, gets the Cold Embrace off, heals off a bit, and now we have Swift Ending. Pounce up over to Bub, not able to get the latch on No Tail, but he's got the burst to be able to bring down Lady Drow. She's going to get dropped. Meanwhile, Wyvern caught in the trees. Here comes the Tornado Epi combo from S4. Gogi's back TP's right on the shrine and back into the action. That's not something you would have seen a few weeks ago. S4 on the way out. Jarek's also quick into the battle. Man, these shrines allow people to get back into the early fight so quick but not quick enough to be able to assist S4. He's going to get blasted down and dropped. This game now even in kills, 4-4 at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's the first incident I've actually seen of like a team trying to take a fight around the enemy shrine this early on. Like, you just can't burst people now around that area. Jarek's trying to get away from Cole, and I think he should do.
Oh, Yapsor though. It's a flank. He's coming in from behind. Will Jarex and him make the turn? Jarex is going to go ahead and eat some spinach, heal right up, but alright. Let's calm down the hype. Yapsor knocks him once and runs away.
Caught bot by Swift Ending, so the farm is kind of working in his favor. Drow realizes that the bot lane is no longer safe, so he's going to try and apply some pressure to the top lane. But I do see where CK, like, they kind of see everything with this defensive ward, which I think Wyvern placed as a result of CK paying him a visit earlier.
Yeah, well, how much time? Well, it's still got nearly 3 minutes on it, so yeah. For now, we do have Wyvern in the area, but do you think Elements, based on that last team fight where they kind of pretty much came out on top, should they move to that top lane and continue to take another fight, or go for that trade in the bottom tier 1, which seems like it could be a plausible option?
I think looking for the trade would probably be the optimal thing. I don't think they want to fight the Drow right at this point. I don't think they have enough farm or items to, or XP to really justify it. They need Pitlord to be set up already to kind of catch the wave. They need him to kind of keep people in there with a Wyvern. It's just, Elements need a lot more heroes to be there when OG can kind of go for isolated pickoffs with like 2 or 3, or 1 or 2 depending.
Now we are held up in a little bit of a pause. There was some lag. We have some reconnects, but it looks like we're going to get back underway. I was going to take this time to see if there was some ancient stack action happening here. Doesn't look like it yet for the Dire side. So TA doesn't have that piggy bank, if you will, to kind of fall back on right now. So Cole putting in the work right now for the mid lane. We still see that push happening here at the top. OG are doing this under a bit of vision, but it doesn't look like they're trying to hide anyone back. It looks like they are going to just be pressing forward and just trying to bring down this tier 1 as fast as possible, and it looks like they should be able to do it with relative ease. No trade will be happening here. Swift Ending is at the bottom, but he is taking a lot of damage under this tower. He's got to be careful. We'll back all the way up, and should be good to go. I'm saying you should be careful. I only was, I guess, considering the Nature's Prophet possibly being able to TP in with the TP at the tower, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case at all for OG.
I think they're going to leave this tower. I think he's just going to take this tier 1. Getting pretty close to Shadowblade, but as long as they have Drow farming this top lane and Furion has access to a jungle, like, they're farming 2 lanes on the side of OG, like, they're doing fine. Whereas Elements, they're scared, they're only really farming 1. They're not really farming their own jungle. TA's farm has been slowed down quite a bit. Invoker's still behind, but he's going to go for a Midas, who's going to catch up eventually. It's just a question of really, like, when does Underlord really start being able to have an effect? Because he's going to catch the Fury in here, but he's just going to depart, I think.
Okay, I wasn't sure, to be honest, if that secondary route was going to cancel TP, but that's not the case. S4, a bit of trouble, has to step all the way back, but it's Gogi who's going to be going down first after the committed dive. Now Trixie rotating in with the teleportation. Cole trying to run on back, but he's got cold snapped, and eventually will get blasted down. OG could just easily segue this into a tier 1 push in the mid lane now, and they are ramping up the pace in this game, and so is going to be their bank accounts. That's a lot of money swinging their way with a couple of kills and a couple of towers, and the fight doesn't stop there. Yaps, we're looking into the woods, trying to get a hold of LeBron, but now finds himself in a 1v3, tries to bring that attention back towards his team. The Gust is going to miss, as Elements do step back a bit, but Swift Ending is here now. Man, he gets smacked in the face with a Sprout, and that is going to halt. And even a nice little cute tornado from S4 too. Yeah.
Everyone's just going to stand around the bathing light. It's very wonderful. So losing the tier like that's pretty unfortunate now. Look at net worth. Yeah. He's just above the Invoker. Like, they have some leeway to work with. Elements just need to be careful not to take too many fights before Stark has Shadowblade, and then they can use that to kind of take control of the map. Because right now they don't really want to take any fights because obviously there's Furion who can always TP in. They don't really want to take any fights when Drow's already nearer tier like 1 or tier 2, because that's the point where they don't really have control of the map to justify looking around. And just looking at Yap, so like, do they have any wards about to go out? They placed a lot of aggressive wards. You see, like, about 4 minutes ago, they've got one which kind of sees the Dire Secret Shop, one in the middle of the lane. But they've kind of retreated back into their own jungle right now, and I think they're hoping that Elements don't really make any moves, and there's not really much for them to smoke with. I think they're just going to wait for the Stark Shadowblade.
Yeah, OG definitely stepping back, resetting a bit. Probably looking to get that next big item and then moving on forward with it. Or any sort of possible fight, I would imagine, too. That could lead them to a easy Roche takedown. I was questioning before, no ancient stacks, but it looks like they've been able to make some ancient stacks on that new northern camp on the side of Dire, and Cole's already been going to work there. With Wyvern nearby, of course, to sap up some of that sweet XP. It's 11 minutes, and poor Wyvern here still doesn't even have his level 6. He picks it up now, but up and above, as we can see, Swift Ending is currently up in arms with Jerix, but only to harass with the birds. Did they even use a tome here? But
nope. Scan detects the Slark from Radiant. They're just being careful. They don't want to get got. I think they were expecting a smoke, but right.
It seems
there
like
is a smoke on Gogi and a smoke on LeBron, so they could do something, but they should probably wait for a while. Underlord is just going to farm bot for his mech. It's just, I'm just wondering, like, OG feel like they're comfortable farming, but I don't think they should be. I think the closer and closer they get to Slark having items and TA getting a dagger or Deso, like, they're going to lose heroes much more quickly than they expect.
it's just like it feels like a lot of their bounce back play, or when the time comes that Elements tries to jump on the Drow, their options are pretty restricted to very single target, I guess. Like Yapsor has to only pick out one to try to stun and stop, and maybe you catch one with a Sprout. S4, you know, a lot of it could be on him to be able to make some big counter plays, or just kind of slow the roll of Elements if they are able to kind of get leverage in a fight, so he can kind of just disrupt all the momentum.
Well, against Drow, there's always this sense of, like, we have to have, like, one or two people, especially against Drow Visage, like, you need to have one or two people, like, able to kind of react very quickly in case they actually just start hitting your buildings. So, OG can kind of play on that and expect that the Wyvern is probably going to be around, like, near the base to defend or to push out waves, and they can use that to take map control quite easily. Mitch is kind of rebelling against this. He's kind of making sure he's available to push out the bot lane, because they don't really want to have to worry about all of them. Okay, Slark Shadowblade, here we go.
Yeah, I don't know if that's because Mitch could just TP back to this mid lane, and as mentioned, Slark Shadowblade getting a little too close to OG on this one, as OG run forward. Pit's going to get dropped there from Underlord, stops them a bit in their tracks. OG not looking to follow up quite yet. Now they don't have that wave to work with. They will have to double back a bit and look for a new approach if that's what they're hoping to get here, but it looks like they'll just head all the way out, but that's where Swift Ending's looking to go on the prowl, try to catch a straggler here. Only will run into a couple of nearby jungle creeps. But OG are going to take it all the way to the bottom lane. They have a tier 1 still standing here to try and bring down. So it looks like we're going to be seeing one of our first potential 5-on-5 clashes with a defense on this tier 1.
I think Elements have what they need to defend the tower, but they have the TA Deso right about now. Like, this is the point where Elements are strongest for, well, the next 10 minutes or so. But they just need to be careful, because if they start getting caught, then they lose all their buildings very, very quickly. But they have enough to defend this, I think.
Let's see. OG starting to soften up the tier 1 a little bit. Gogi's getting ready to dish out the Bloodlust. Of course, he's got to hit up Swift Ending here. But now they're looking around the corner, coming in from the side of the shrine, and maybe even flanking him from further. Swift Ending is taking the long road all the way back in behind here to get someone from the backside. He has been spotted, though, as there's a sentry on the ground. He's going to go right into his ulti and be able to shred apart and quickly take out Trixie. Yapsor's going to look to prowl him. Now that's when Elements begin to make their move in from the north, and that is going to be a hard hit. Ballas is going to get dropped. OG strutting on in here. As they manage to burst down Swift Ending, quickly Elements are not liking this as they step back. And now OG can feel a bit more confident about moving in. Trixie's already almost back in about 5 seconds, and they're going to get back to work on this tier 1. Without Swift Ending being involved, this is a much easier fight for OG. No Tail almost getting knocked with the stun there, but Ogre not able to get close enough. So OG are able to continue to step back and just re-engage and catch out anyone who advanced just too far forward. This case, it's going to be Gogi. He's now out of mana. He does get the save from Wyvern, but okay, he's very fat, so he's fine.
Die, does he?
Yeah, he's just a fat-ass son of a gun, and he's going to be able to just walk back out. But now Swift Ending is finally back. He goes right into Shadowblade. They are going to be able to burst down the Familiar. Now they're looking for anyone on the TP. Oh, that wasn't a Familiar. That was just straight up Jerix. Okay. But look at Swift Ending, man. He is still on the prowl. He's going to get no tail here. Woo! Gets the pounce. No Tail's like, he was still chasing me? For the love of God, he's going to get brought down. Now Yapsor going to be forced to go for the TP. He makes it
They
back out.
smoke immediately. Are they going to just go for the Roche? I think, yeah. If they just go for the Roche right now, there's no contesting this. Invoker can Tornado EMP, but I think even if he does, they'll lose this. Yeah, they basically just spent 2 or 3 minutes hanging around that tier 1. It got denied. They got a kill on the Slug, but he got effectively 2 kills out of that. So, overall, I think Elements kind of benefited from that. And if they get this Roche, then this game gets quite difficult for OG.
OG, though, not looking to hand over a Roche so easily. S4 just outside the pit. Knocks 4 of them up with a tornado here. Gogi, low on the mana, low on the life. Elements don't like this. They back out from the pit. Roche was brought down to just about half his life. Gotta remember, too, Roche isn't as easy for these physical heroes to just quickly burst down. He was blessed with that additional armor. Even if you have a Deso, let's say, it's just going to take
Trixie.
a little bit of extra muscle
No.
power. But yeah, Trixie gets caught out right from behind. Swift Ending makes his move, goes into Shadow Dance, and they'll be able to get the finish. That is a man who's been playing lots of Slark and knows exactly when to pop that ulti when he feels like he's not going to be able to get the job done. In this case, he does. Now an ulti catches Yapsor and No Tail onto S4. Oh, so much damage, but not enough to be able to get the finish. Just a bit too short. Now is going to be Elements, forcing OG all the way back on their side. They might be settling in for Jarek. Swing and a miss on the pounce, but they're able to get the pact and the right-click damage. Yapsor going to be the next one potentially in trouble, but they make their move for No Tail instead and will be able to burst down the Drow. Now they move for Yapsor, and they make it a double kill for Cole. Here comes Elements. They are warmed up, and they have been feeling pretty good about 7.0 and continue to show it here. Now they can double back and look to get the finish on that Roche. S4 says... Don't even think about it, as one-man army is trying to head that way to stop him, but this is looking like it could be.
Like, they have permanent vision with the trees, and just the threat of Tornado and EMP kind of stops them. And all this time, Trixie just goes up top, he pushes this wave out. But is Jarek's going to get caught here?
Swift Ending making his move in, gets spotted under the sentry, but every time, the second he gets spotted, he's already about to make his move. He's still hiding under the Shadow Dance, still looking to make a move for Jarek's. Meanwhile, S4 does get brought down from down and below by Cole, also looking to put in the work. There's Swift Ending bouncing out the side door. Gogi trapped inside with the help of that Sprout from Trixie. That will be the end of the Ogre. A very long-winded fight. This is all happening outside that front door of the Roche pit. And Mitch is like, you know what, guys? Let's just get the hell out of here. And he's going to pick him up and send him right back in the base for a full reset.
So, they now are going to fight with Underlord Mech, Blink TA, and Slark Echo Saber.
Damn, and then they just TP over to the shrine, which is just like 10 feet away from where they just were. That's some good little coordination and use of that that Underlord ult. I like that.
What I do like about the position of these shrines is, as long as you have these shrines up, you can always fight Roche. And you can buy back and get to the Roche fight in time, because previously, Radiant pretty much had no hope of buybacking to join a Roche fight. But now they do. Oh, Yapsor.
Damn. He just gets assaulted here in the mid lane. Maliced up and just blasted by Cole on that. Cole now sporting that sweet Blink Dagger and Deso combo. Do you think Elements might be just getting a bit too strong, a bit too early in this game for OG's Drow lineup?
So.
Yeah?
Like, if you saw, like, Notal, basically, he got hit 3 times by TA and disappeared.
This is not good for OG. Not good at all. Malice is out. Pounce does connect onto S4. There goes the Pact, and they have the Dust, so he's not going to be able to hide under any sort of Ghost form. And he just gets brought down. TA doesn't even need to look over her shoulder to see what the hell just happened. And that's going to allow Elements to be able to finish out Roche. A long-winded first Roche, but it's still going to go the way of Elements on this one as they continue to pull ahead. 15-8, their net worth. The biggest it's been in the game so far. Still just a little over 2K. But, you know, it's a Drow lineup now beginning to fall behind, and we're not even at 20 minutes yet. That's very scary for OG in Game 1.
Yeah, I just really like how Elements are taking these fights. Like, Swift Ending just never really seems to be dying, ever. Which is, I think Slark got buffed incredibly hard. If you think about Slark's strongest point is usually like after he gets like his level 2 ulti, or he gets like max Essence Shift and he gets a Shadow Blade, right? Shadow Blade, Echo Saber, Silver Edge around that timing. If you think about what he used to have, he used to get like a point in stats. But now at the same point, he gets 15 damage, 15 agi. Map controlling got a lot easier now. There's a lot more routes to kind of force people through. You benefit a lot more from being able to roam around with Shadow Blade. And overall, like, his counters just got nerfed quite a bit. Like, you don't see the anti-mages anymore. You don't see the heroes that really just used to beat him. So, Slark is sitting in a very, very good spot, both in this game and generally. And I
Yeah.
think now with the TA and Slark being overly farmed, OG need to be very, very careful. They need to kind of wait for the TA to overextend and kill them twice. That's the only real way I see them taking fights right now.
Here comes Elements looking to claim this mid-tier 1 tower, and OG trying to devise some sort of game plan to be able to approach what looks like the heavy-handed group here. You got two mighty, hard-hitting cores, very elusive, and then you have Mitch just planted behind them, that big, disgusting Underlord with a mech.
He doesn't need to be behind them, he can just stand in front. They don't actually have the damage to kill him anymore.
Yeah,
And
him
as he
and
gets
Ogre.
points in Atrophy Aura, like Drow becomes less and less of a thing.
This is a hard team to kill. I mean, the mech, and you have the Wyvern also nearby. This is tough. These cores can just dance out in front and do whatever the hell they feel like because they have so much backup right behind him.
Oh,
Cole
Furion, be careful.
easily sidesteps over there, but yeah, Furion nearby. Not nearby, actually, all the way down the bottom lane. Thought he would have been safe, far from the trouble, but Swift Ending already made his move all the way down there. Not able to get the finish on Trixie, as he will be able to TP out. And it looks like Elements, without the assistance of Swift Ending, or not feeling like they want to overstay their welcome in the mid lane, decide to peace out and will take their business elsewhere.
Yeah, it's kind of really difficult for OG to farm because they have to stay together, otherwise Slark is going to pick them off, as you've just seen. Trixie trying to split the map a little bit, but that's really not allowed under the watchful gaze of Elements right now. So they have to farm together, which means Drow has to farm with Evoker, they have to share XP. The Drow is not really able to do very much, they're not allowed to push lanes, they're not able to split push. The Drow honestly is just falling behind. Slark and TA just farming very, very quickly, and as a result, eventually they're just going to hit critical mass, and then when that happens, like this TA is going to hit Hurricane Pike, she's going to start being able to pick and choose and just pick off the CK or pick off the Drow very, very quickly, and they go up for a smoke.
Oh boy. Well, OG looked like they were beelining it for that top lane as Cole was tickling the mid lane tier 2 to bring it down. They notice OG's movement towards the top, and now they smoke and just B-rush that way, but it looks like they will miss the OG action, and instead we'll just be able to kind of equalize the lane a bit more. So, and you can see it though, Elements, man, they're a team on the prowl, looking for any opening to try to shove down OG even further, and you know, look for an early GG call. But
yeah, OG, they have the Ags coming soon on the Invoker, 700 gold until that. DK is going for the Halberd, so they just want to force the TA to go BKB, I think, because she's probably not very likely to go in this game quite yet. Furion's getting close to Hurricane Pike. They need basically ways of dealing with the Slark and the TA just to get away from them. They want to be able to kite fights and extend them, but I'm just waiting to see what items really going to make the difference. Like the Solar Crest on the Visage, which is going to save people who Slark goes on. It means Drow might not instantly disintegrate, which is a good thing, but S4, oh dear, oh no.
he goes down right away.
Silver Edge, and it's just, that's rough.
And now we also have Cole, the other powerhouse hitter, doing work at the top tier 1, and now backs all the way out. Yapsor making his approach here. OG considering going on the offensive. No, that is just Trixie under a bit of trouble, and Mitch sends everyone back. I don't know if Mitch was trying to get back or not and accidentally brought his team with him, but whatever the case may be, Elements are like, we're done with top lane, and they head back home.
Well, that was a situation where the Slark couldn't be there and the Ogre couldn't be there, so there was a risk that there would just be 5 Radiant heroes, and if they get caught with Tornado or whatever, and they burst down the Pit Lord, then yeah, that wouldn't be very good, so they just take no risks, they get out, and then they just farm their own jungle again. And now, as a result, OG don't have vision where Dire are, so they just have to play very safe. Drow and CK just pushing mid lane together, but it's just really, really hard to be on the map right now.
Yeah, you can see that with Trixie here. He barely shows himself in the lane, and now he's already in hiding mode. Swift Ending hunting through the other side. Trixie realizes he made a good choice heading north in those trees. As Swift Ending was bloodthirsty, it looks like he'll be able to take his business to the bottom lane, and this could be the continuing trend for OG, at least for now. Just splitting the pressure, staying away from Elements, delaying and dodging, and trying to, I don't know, bulk up to be in a position where if there is a misplay here by Elements in any sort of fashion, OG could hopefully take advantage of that and maybe bounce back from any sort of rubber band effect moving forward.
What I am watching out for is Mitch is going for the Crimson Guard, I think. And it's a very, very, very good Crimson Guard game. With the Drow, with Treants, and all that kind of stuff, and the Visage.
Yep.
Yeah, once he gets that, killing people becomes even more difficult. Slark is... he's got his level 3 LT, so... I'm just looking at talents now, like TA's talents, 25 attack speed, 12% evasion. I think TA has generally just quite nice talents. Slark as well, they're both very stat-oriented.
Swift ending here.
Swift ending?
Man.
No.
No shame at all to just be right on the front doorstep of the enemy. But OG doesn't seem to kind of be the wiser. He could just be kind of that roaming mini smoke detector, if you will, to catch if OG are trying to make any sort of, you know, comeback plays. But it seems like OG are just going to continue to work with the available farm restricted on their side of the map. But that's not going to stop Elements. They continue to farm the majority of this map, and they continue to push on forward. Now taking down their second tier 2. Only one more tier 2 stands for OG at the top lane. At that point, you know, you can bank on the fact that Elements are going to look to hunt down and take out those shrines, and that's even more money in the bank for them. OG on a frantic move up north, though.
They TP right into a smoke.
Oh, they did. They jump right in with the help of Mitch, and Trixie is trying to run back, but Swift Ending already on him. Bumps him back with the Sprout, but already gets knocked with the Ignite. Now OG coming in from behind. But is it a fight they can win here? Swift Ending goes into a Shadow Dance, gets the pounce, gets the connection, and a bash onto No-Tail. There's the help with the Tornado coming out from S4. Forces him back. Now they surround Swift Ending, and they should be able to bring him down, but no! He hides in the Invis and runs back and away. Will be able to regen up, and now the Malice comes out. The heals are in full force. And OG panicked to make it back and away, but nope, Trixie not going to be able to make it out. Gets caught in that tree closet. Now back in the midst, it's Cole getting in the action. S4 crumbling, trying to make it away, but not going to be able to get out. Mitch grabs him on the back end of that one. Now it's Yapsword, Jerix, and No-Tail trying to fend for themselves. They dive in, looking to get the grab, and they will not be able to get it. Swift Ending claims another life. Mitch is going to get the bring down of No-Tail. It's Yapsword, the only survivor, and he doesn't stand a freaking chance. Swift Ending. Triple kill at the end of the day. It never really felt like OG had an upper hand in that fight. It looked like they were so close to getting a few pickoffs, but man, Elements are just in total control of this first game.
And that fight looked kind of okay, I think. Like Slark had no mana, he had no ulti, but he managed to get out just in case. Like there's always the threat of the Wyvern sensor, the Wyvern save, so it's pretty difficult to focus just one target. They need to kind of use the EMP to zone people out as well. So focusing any one target for OG is quite difficult, even though they do have like Drow and Invoker CK. Like, and you say Trixie like almost got out, but what actually happened is Trixie was fighting the Slark, and then he managed to TP out. And then what he did, he saw the Slark on 300 health about to get out, right? So he goes, I'm just going to TP, catch the Slark, and I'm going to join in the fight again. Slark just was like, okay, and then he just hit him, and Trixie just died solo to the Slark afterwards.
It was very chaotic there, but a lot of credit to the supports of Elements. It looked like many times someone like Swift Ending was going to be going down, but they have just so much utility to bring.
Yep, and now they have a Ghost Scepter on the Wyvern. They have, well, Ogre's getting closer and closer to a 4-star, he almost has it. Mitch has got 2k gold, so he can buy basically what he wants. And yeah, TA's got DD rune now, he's got 4k gold. Like, this game is going to get very, very, very difficult very quickly unless OG get a miracle team fight.
Looks like we are going to get back underway here. It's OG starting to have their backs up against the walls here, as Elements will be able to move into their first 10k net worth advantage. XP is even more dramatic than that, and in a new patch when you got talents now introduced, the XP graph is a lot more important than it used to be here. So now you are seeing all the level 20 talents coming into play for some of these cores. That's more life, it looks like, for both of them. Opted for 250 health between both Cole and Swift Ending. And for the rest of his team, they're now parked up together, and I'm sure they have eyes on this top tier 2. Last outer tower before they can start bringing out the shrines.
Yeah, this game feels very, very comfortable for Elements right now.
Yeah.
Like, they're in a situation where the majority of the damage coming out from OG is physical. They've got a Wyvern, they've got Mitch, who has now his completed Crimson Guard. They've got 2 relatively survivable heroes. TA not so much, but Slark has got a lot of things to save him right now, so it's just very difficult for OG to catch them out. And I think that's what they need to do if they want to get a good fight. They can try and split push all they like, but I think it's not going to be quite enough because there's just so much building damage on the side of Dire.
Yes, and you can see it right there. Mitch, though, he's going to be the enforcer. Runs right in, drops the casual pin of Malice, but he's able to shrug off a lot of the damage with the assistance coming out from the Wyvern. There's a Tornado EMP, but it is going to be S4 caught right in the middle and hit up with the ulti as well. Forces Elements to kind of step back a bit, but S4 eventually gets shredded apart. And now No-Tail gets jumped on from Cole. Eats a hard shot and has to head back up inside. Swift Ending now looking to roll on in and gets Trixie here. Caught right in the midst with the help of the Malice, and he'll go down. Swift Ending on the way back, eating a lot of shots, but manages to pounce right back in for No-Tail, but he gets off the nice little pike, but gets shot right there from Cole. Cole going to be able to turn it back around and look to go from other victims. Jarek's caught into the mix, has to run on back. Buybacks are going to get forced out, 2 of them from both No-Tail and Trixie, and the second those buybacks come out, Elements say, let's get back. They just dropped a pretty penny. Let's reset at least. But look at this, OG just happy to run out that door. But don't want to overextend, it seems. Now a bit hesitant to go this far from home. But maybe they've already gone too deep into this one. Oh, Ignite hit onto No-Tail. He'll be brought down with assistance from Swift Ending. They turn it back over. We'll get the grab on Yapzor as well. And it looks like Elements could be going for a game finish here as they get the jump onto Jarek's. Tornado does fly out from S4. Helps out a bit. EMP's going to get dropped, but the damage may have already been done as they will lose Jarek's. And that will be the call coming out from No-Tail. Game number 1 going to be going to the underdogs in this matchup, Elements Pro Gaming.
Yeah, I think they basically had a very, very good laning stage. Slark and TA both got what they wanted. I think it was okay for OG, but then I think that first major rotation, like they got the top towers, that was reasonable. Like Drow rotated away from the Slark when she needed to, but they just kind of postured around that bot tower for so long, and they spent so long trying to kill the Ogre, catch the Pit Lord. They never really got enough, and then on their retreat, after they got the tower denied, then they got caught by the Slark, and then that was the point where they could never really take a proper fight after that. They challenged the Roche, but I just think it was that 10 to 20 minute period, like where they tried to take the tower, they tried to challenge the Roche, like, they just got out-teamed for it, I think. And I don't think their lineup was well suited to deal with the scenario where they didn't have like the towers down very, very early.
Now, what's your new approach if you're OG going into game 2? You let stuff in like the Underlord, and you get Swift Ending onto his very comfortable Slark. I imagine the draft will see some new adjustments here. Between the obvious ones that they have to do against someone like Elements, I mean, what do you think about the picks that OG committed to, and maybe a change-up that they should look for in themselves?
I just think they picked a lineup that just couldn't really team fight very well in the mid game unless they had a sizable advantage. And I think if they do that, they need to play the early game a lot more carefully. And I don't think Drow is as strong currently as she used to be. I think the patch kind of made the game not really well suited to that kind of strat, because 5-manning is just very easy to punish. Like, if you want to 5-man, then you can't go near the enemy shrines, because if you fight near them, you're going to die. Like, they can always TP in, they can try and save the tier 2s, like they can TP in behind you. If you're sieging a tier 2, they can TP to the shrine. It's very easy to smoke around, there's lots of paths to move around. I think that I just need to kind of embrace the running it people. You just have to kind of go with it.
Let's see if they draft themselves some sort of run-at-you lineup for game number 2, but it is game number 1 for Elements Pro Gaming. I'm Kyle Guy, that's Rhyme Dota. When we return, we'll be going into game number 2 of Dota Pit Season 5's Finals for the European Qualifier. We'll see you soon.
gaming bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Playing CSGO? Guess the number of rounds in a certain match. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.